Can you see my space buns? We're at the very top of the frame. I might scooch the camera up because the space buns, I've been really into space buns, and by that I mean I'm just keeping my hair up because it's finally summer and I am miserable. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've been a subscriber for any length of time, you'll probably know that I am definitely like a full glam, but full coverage, full powder kind of gal. And that's just the way I've always done makeup. It's the way I've always enjoyed makeup. I like using medium to full coverage foundations and concealers. I like setting everything down with powder. I love playing with powder complexion products, bronzers, highlights, contours, blushes. And I've really stayed away from cream products like they were the devil. In the past, I tried cream products every now and then, but they would always be to eventually put powder on top of. I had never tried cream products for the sake of them being cream products and then letting them sit like they should. Not like they should. You can use cream products however the heck you want. But I had never tested that out the other way until very recently. So very recently, I've been slowly but surely getting into more cream products and actually leaving my face unpowdered, which I know to me is pretty unheard of. But that was really only possible because of a few products. So I thought I could go ahead and show you guys the products that have gotten me to fall in love with some cream products and this makeup application of not setting everything down with powder anymore. So number one, I kind of want to start off with saying that I think a big part of the reason why I even experimented with this and I might have the privilege of doing makeup this way is because I work from home. Previously, pre-COVID, I worked hybrid, so I was in the office 4 days a week and I would work from home 1 day a week. And with that, I needed makeup that would stay put. I was walking miles a day. I was in sardine train cars outside of New York City. It's tight. It is hot. It is busy. I was sweating everything off. Especially, even in the winter, I'd be sweating stuff off because there's just so many people crammed into train stations, right? So I needed makeup that was not going to budge. So that's the makeup I tended to go towards. Full coverage, powder everything down, bring your touch-ups with you. And I never even considered the thought of using cream products and not setting anything down. Now that I'm home, I literally work from home at the desk that's directly across from my vanity right here. I feel like if anything does go terribly wrong with my makeup, I could fix it right here, just come over or even just take off my makeup. I don't have to be on camera for work all the time. It's highly encouraged and I need to be on camera most of the time. But if something terrible goes wrong with my makeup, I can just pop the camera off and say I'm having technical difficulties for the day. So that being said, I don't want to shame anyone for doing their makeup one way or the other, or, I don't want to be like that and I don't want to come off like that. So, all ways of doing makeup are great. Don't take this as me saying one way of doing makeup is better than doing it the other way of makeup, because it really all depends on your circumstances, including where you work, how you work, what have you. So let's start off with two products that you wouldn't really think would make me fall in love with cream products, but here we go. We have the Urban Decay Primer Potion and the Kosas Airbrow. Yeah, I know, very random. The Urban Decay Primer Potion, this could really just be any kind of eye primer that is clear and isn't super opaque or like a concealer. Now the primer potion comes on a little wand like this, so originally I went back to this because it had been a while since I bought this, and I really wanted something that was super quick and easy to put on. So it's almost see-through, you just pop it on, you blend it out with a finger, and boom, you're done. Prior to this, I was really reaching for MAC paint pots or concealers that require a little bit more work to blend out before you can go ahead and go with your eyeshadow. Now that being said, I think people can get away without using eye primer. I have heavily hooded lids. I need eye primer. Eyeshadow would disappear within minutes if I did not wear an eye primer, so I need it. But this was kind of the opening gate to me being able to do a full face of cream products. And this is because it's not too heavy. It looks a bit more natural. I'm never gonna look totally natural with my makeup because that's just not the way I like doing my makeup. But doing a full face of cream and then doing kind of a MAC paint pot based eye looked very strange. So this was kind of the first step. And along those same lines, doing a full cream face and then kind of going in with a super pomade brow also looked a little weird to me. So I was only able to kind of do the full face that I do now with this brow gel. This is the first brow gel I tried where I liked the tint, I liked the color, I liked the coverage enough on its own. I didn't have to kind of go in and touch up with a pomade or a powder or anything. And this is the Kosas Air Brow. It's in the shade Black. I do like the shade. There are some other products I've tried where I like the darker shade a bit more, but this one just, while it's not the perfect undertone, it's a little bit warm for me. I love the shape of this spoolie. It applies super, super nicely. And especially like towards the beginning, it does give me very nice like hair-like strokes in the front. And that's exactly what I needed in order to be able to do a full face of cream. That sounded weird. A full face of cream products. All right, let's move on to the actual cream products, shall we? First, we have two foundations. I've already talked about these in a previous ranking video. I'll throw that up in the cards if you missed it. But these two foundations are really the ones lately that I've fallen in love with, and they look amazing without powder. So first I have the Kindness Vegan Dinner. This is the Good Apple Serum Foundation, and I am trash at matching myself online. See these different colors? So this is shade 008. Which one is 008? This one's 008. This one's 018. So I'm somewhere in between, but for now, I just mix them together and the finish is flawless. It looks like if I get this in my actual shade, I think I probably wouldn't wear any other foundation. It just looks amazing. It's good medium coverage, it's buildable coverage, but it looks like satin, it looks like skin, and it just looks amazing enough that I did wear this with powder, and it works really great with powder too. But this looks so amazing without powder that it got me. It was like the first foundation where I was like, you know, what if I don't set it? What if I just leave it? It looks really pretty. And then I did. And then it was awesome. So this one's great. Next, we have a foundation that I happened upon when I was watching an Amanda Z video. And this is from Shishedo. This is the Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation. And it's kind of in the name, self-refreshing. So it's meant to kind of maintain itself throughout a full day. And that intrigued me because I had never tried a foundation like that before. And again, this is a beautiful foundation. It looks perfect like on my skin. It makes my skin look like skin, even though I've got primer and foundation and whatnot on top of it. It's great. I am surprised I have not tried more from Shiseido. I need to get on the ball and try more from this brand and more foundations like this. Because it doesn't set down all the way, but it's a good medium coverage foundation that looks like skin. And it's not tacky, like annoying. So it can also be a sensory thing, whether or not you set your foundation or not. I used to hate the feeling of unset foundation. That was years ago. So I've noticed that the KVD, the Shiseido, it still feels good on my skin. It doesn't feel like I'm missing a step, which if you know that feeling, let me know down below. But it still feels really nice on my skin. And that's a necessity for a full day of makeup wear. Especially when I'm busy. I'm working, I'm taking care of Rex, I am cooking dinner, I am a homebody, so that's about it. But I need to be comfortable in order to do all that. All right, now this foundation is an oldie, but a goodie. Now this one I used to wear and I would only powder like certain areas because it did look really, really pretty, but I would still powder in order to wear other products on top of it. And lately, including today, I've been wearing it completely unpowdered. This is the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. It is so good. It's so rare to find like a good affordable drugstore foundation that comes in a decent shade range, that is medium to full coverage, buildable, and looks amazing without setting it. Like, it looks incredible. Like, and I've used this for years. If they ever discontinue this, I will buy a million bottles and then cry myself to sleep because it is so good. This is so good. Right now I have shade 002 Porcelain Beige is my shade match. It's a little, I don't want to say it's a little dark. It's maybe I could go for a more neutral or cool tone. I don't know if they have another shade before 002, but I might look into it just because I'm seeing a little bit of a shade match here on camera. But just the skin looks like skin. It's beautiful. And it's not 100% like powder dry, but it's not tacky on my skin, and it feels wonderful, even though the AC is off and I feel hot. I don't feel like my face is about to melt off. So those are all the foundations that have kind of enabled me to really, more often than not lately, not powder my face, even in the summer. Now I live in New Jersey, summers hit us in full force. Today we've got like a high in like the high 80s and we're getting thunderstorms. So I will leave that there. So I have two concealers to talk about. Now in the past I mentioned where I would wear a foundation and powder certain areas. One area I would always powder no matter what was my under eyes. And that's because I had some fine lines, I had some dark circles, so I was always using like a nice kind of thick, fuller coverage concealer to cover those. And I was always afraid of it creasing throughout the day, because when I worked in the office or wherever I was going, I was like working a full day without ever really having a chance to like touch up in a mirror. And I didn't want to be at the end of that long day and look in the mirror and be like, oh my God, I look terrible the whole day. So I'd always powder my under eyes. I've only recently started not powdering my under eyes. Now, it has not been all sunshine and roses. Now, I have, in quite a few videos, been testing not setting my concealer, and then I go in and I do an eye look, and the fallout ruins my whole face because it hits wet concealer. So it's not always perfect. You kind of have to plan ahead with your eye looks, but the not set concealer look just, it makes me look younger. And not to say that looking older looks bad, but whenever I would set my under eye concealer, I would look a little bit older, you know? And I just think it looks a bit more, it looks dewier, it looks fresher when I don't set it. So I've been leaning towards not setting it. Now, these are my two favorite foundations for doing that. Concealers for not setting. The first is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Dark Spots. I have a bone to pick with them about their shade range though. Not a great shade range. And even then, they make it impossible to show accurately online. If you look online, you would think shade 11 is the lightest shade. It is not. It is the shade right here. I actually also talk about it in that ranking video, and I do side-by-side swatches. So if you're interested, go check out that video. But this concealer on its own is actually a really good concealer. It is medium coverage. You can build it up a little bit, but you don't want to do too much on your under eyes unless it'll look a little bit cakey. But it just looks beautiful throughout a full day. And it's, I think this was the first concealer I wore without setting. And I was surprised at how good it did look at the end of the day. Now, the second concealer I tried this with, I was actually pretty shocked because I went in not really expecting a whole lot from this concealer, if I'm being very, very honest. And I thought the shade was slightly off. I'm wearing it today. Now, the shade is shade 3.75, and this is the Armani Luminous Silk Concealer. I hate their shade range, and that 3.75 is the lightest shade and not shade 1. Apparently, they are as bad at math as I am. But this had a slightly rosy undertone, so I wasn't expecting a whole lot. I thought maybe it'd be a bit too dark for me, but when I put this on, not only did it look beautiful and plump and nice on my under eyes, but the slightly rosy undertone did amazing at canceling out my dark circles. So I'm wearing this today. I did wear a color corrector underneath it on this specific look, so you're not really going to be able to see the effect of it as far as color correcting. But I've worn this for many weeks now, and I've noticed that on days where I don't wear color corrector, I don't necessarily need it with this concealer because of that rosy undertone. So not only did this get me to not set my concealer and it looked great and plump and nice throughout a full day, but it also got me thinking about undertones for concealer. And then maybe I can go with like a more rosy undertone for a concealer. Maybe I should be going for a rosy undertone in a concealer because I've got those dark spots. So thinking, but I have to say I was very, very impressed by this. All right, so now we have some color complexion products. So let's start with the bronzer, shall we? I have the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Bronzer. I've tried the regular Putty Bronzer, and honestly, I feel that it's a bit dry and it doesn't blend out as nicely as this one does. So this is the Luminous Putty Bronzer. I do not like that they don't have the shade name on here, so I'll put the shade name up right here. Thank you, editing Monica. But the Luminous Putty Bronzer blends out beautifully. Now, you have to blend it out with a brush. I like to use this brush right here. This is from Wet n Wild. It's from one of like their holiday sets. But this brush is what I typically use for my powder bronzer, and I just on a whim tried it with this and it worked beautifully. I have this today kind of along my cheek area, a little bit under here, and it just blends out so like natural looking, right? It's there, it gives me that nice bronzy glow, and it's not like super glow. It's got like the hint of a glow, and it looks like it's not like a highlighter kind of glow. It's more of a like, oh, she got like 8 hours of sleep last night, she drinks tons of water kind of glow, you know? So I've tried this with like my fingers. I've used it with a sponge. The best way it blends out is with a sponge, or with a brush, excuse me. So use a brush using this, but I was just so impressed. And this got me to want to continue using these foundations, to keep using this because this looks really pretty. Now this next product is actually kind of an old product, I believe, but I had never tried it out because again, I've been avoiding cream products like the plague. But this is the NYX Wonderstick, and I got the lightest shade. I believe this is Fair, and it's a double-ended like highlight and contour. Now, in full honesty, I've barely used the highlight side. That's because I've been testing some other highlights, and I like using a medium to full coverage concealer. I think the idea is that you would use this kind of like on your under eyes and whatnot. I'm not using it that way. I am, however, using this contour side. This is like such a perfect shade for contour on me. I am pale. I am a MAC N4. I do not see the outside unless I am in my long sleeve black shirt and plenty of SPF. So to find something that works this well and is this affordable, like I think this whole thing was like $8. Wow. Wow, wow. But it made me very curious about other like contour sticks. Because again, I've never really tried contour sticks before, and I was just super impressed by how nicely this blended out, how nice the tone looked, and how good it wore throughout a full day. Now I know NYX also has them in blushes, I think. I've never tried them. I'm debating on picking it up. So let me know down below if you've tried those NYX sticks in blush and if they're any good. Now that being said, the blush formula that got me to fall in love with liquid blush is the Rare Beauty. Everyone's been saying it and everyone is correct. This is actually an amazing liquid blush formula, especially for someone who hated liquid and cream products. So I have like 4 minis here, and then I have like 3 full size of them in my drawer. I kind of prefer the minis because they're a little bit easier to store, and I don't know how long it'll take me to use these up. I've been using especially like this orange shade quite a bit, and it's still nowhere near to being used up. So they're gonna last forever. These are super pigmented, but they blend out really nicely. So if you go in a little too heavy, you can blend it out. Otherwise, if you go in and you want to keep building it up, you can keep building it up. It feels beautiful on the skin. I don't feel extra heavy when I put this on, and they're just so cute. Look how cute they are. And the only complaint that I have is I need to look to see if they've come out with more shades. This is like a peach. I want a bright orange because she has like a bright red and a bright purple. I desperately want a bright orange because I love orange, and that's actually the last product, spoiler alert, is an orange product. And I want that in like a liquid blush. So also, if you happen to know of any orange blushes, be it cream or liquid, let me know down below, please. And last but not least, I mentioned orange, and here we have it. This is the Fenty Cream Blush in the shade Fuego Flush. And I believe like that's pan in the middle. I think I can see the bottom of this pan. So to not only fall in love with and use a cream blush so much, but to actually have pan in a cream blush? I mean, who am I? Who am I? So I would love to have this in like liquid form because I wear this and I'm actually wearing it today. It's beautiful, but it's not as bright. I can't build this up to the amount that I kind of want to sometimes. It looks very beautiful. It looks very pretty. It's glowy. It's orange. It's peachy. It's everything I'm looking for, except I wish it went just a bit brighter. And that might just be my complexion. That might just be this product is actually kind of old and I'm still using it. I don't know. But it's beautiful, and I want more orange blushes. And I'm really impressed by this formula. And again, I found the best way to apply this is actually with a brush and then going in with a sponge to blend it out. So I go in with this Moda Pro angled brush and I kind of swirl it in there and I like tap it on with the brush first, and then I go in with a sponge and I kind of smooth it out. And that's the best way I've noticed, because if I just go in with a brush, I tend to see brush strokes in it. So while it looks brighter and more orangey with just a brush, I need to blend it out with a sponge, otherwise it'll look like stipply, right? And then if I go in with just a sponge, I end up like blending it to oblivion. So I mean, also if you've got a suggestion for how else I could put this on, but that's kind of the best way I've found so far without ruining the integrity of the rest of my makeup. So those are the products that I've been using lately that have gotten me to fall in love with cream products. Now, there is one kind of major category missing, and that is a liquid highlight. I've literally only tried one liquid highlight, and it's been the e.l.f. little wand product, and it's been okay. I'm actually wearing it today, but I want to try more. Liquid highlight is like the one product I also avoided like the plague because it does not play well, in my experience, with any kind of powder application at all. And I never really used it. So now I'm on the hunt for a good liquid highlighter. So if you've got any good recommendations, high-end or drugstore, please let me know down below. So that is it. I'll have all the products listed down below if you are interested. Please let me know if you have any suggestions for what else I should be trying. And if you're also someone who tends to lean more towards the powders and the full glam set kind of look, let me know if this has tempted you at all to look at some more cream products. Thank you guys for watching, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye.